up guys, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys my weapon DPS build. Well, just my weapon build. I think this is a really good weapon. It's my favorite weapon in the game actually, and I just want to show you how much damage this thing does so far. Now, as you're seeing for the thumbnail, we're in the 600,000 DPS mark for this weapon, and the crazy part about it is I still got some work to do on it, right? So we still got things to add to it to increase that damage even more. So anyways, this is gonna be a weapon showcase build, so you guys can try something new, right? Look for different weapons and stuff like that instead of the that one LMG that everybody uses. So anyways, without wasting time, let's just get straight into the build. So, all right. So with the build, obviously we are using the Eternal Willpower. So before we start getting into the builds and mods and stuff like that, I want to show you a couple things here. So I want to explain the reason why I chose the Eternal Willpower over other assault rifles, right? So you have the Phantom Pain, you have the Caligo's Horn. Those are really solid assault rifles in their own right as well. But we went for the Eternal Power just because I decided I wanted to go. Well, I do like the way the weapon feels. It's a little bit jumpy, so it kind of has like the worst like stability out of all the assault rifles. The only assault rifle that I haven't tested was the final one. So let me 1 second. Let me mute my phone. So the only one that I haven't tested was this one, the Fallen Hope, because I haven't went and made it. I haven't farmed it yet or made it. But out of all of these assault rifles here, and we're not looking at this one, the Ominous Hound, it's no reason. So out of all of these assault rifles here, even the Magnus AA, it's okay, but my favorite so far is the Eternal Willpower. Now there are a couple reasons why the Eternal Willpower is my favorite. The Eternal Willpower has the lowest fire rate of all the assault rifles. Like I said, I'm excluding the Fallen Hope just because I haven't made it yet. I haven't looked at any of the stats. But the Eternal Willpower has the lowest fire rate at 499, which is pretty slow. And then you have you got the Magnus AA at a 571. Then you have the Caligo's Horn at a 631, and then it's the Phantom Pain at 722, right? So if you just move the Eternal Willpower one to the right, you'll see that goes in order from fastest to slowest, or slowest to fastest, depending on which way you're looking. So now you're probably wondering, okay, so if it has the slowest fire rate, why am I using it? Well, it has the slowest fire rate, but it has the most damage. So the Eternal Willpower has around like 21,000 damage per bullet base. And then we have the Magnus AA. Well, I don't have it at a level 100, but it has the highest base damage. This one is a 13,000. The Caligo's Horn and the Phantom Pain is only a 10,000, right? Now it has faster fire rate, so you might think, okay, well, the fire rate will make up for that, right, in DPS. Now, yes and no, because, obviously you want to look at magazine capacity as well. So they're all around the 30 bullets per mag mark. So there's a whole bunch of equations that go into it, right? So anyways, I'm not going to keep going into why I think the Eternal Willpower is way better. It just has a lot higher base damage. It does have, I think in my personal opinion, the worst stability. So if you got to really know how to aim with it. But it has some pretty good accuracy. Everything else is pretty solid. So because I chose this one that has a 499 RPM with a base of 21,370 damage and a 25 round mag, right? The mag is slightly lower than 30, so it balances out, right? So essentially, if we're looking at it all, the DPS for all of these assault rifles are around the same. Around the same. That's just how everything kind of adds out to be mathematically. So I chose the Eternal Willpower just because I want to see big numbers while I'm shooting. So I did roll these stats onto here. So we have firearm critical hit damage at a 38%. I think it goes to like 45, 46, something like that. Like if you see this one is a 44.8%. So we have the critical hit damage, we have firearm attack, we have fire critical hit rate, and we have rounds per magazine. You can switch off rounds per magazine for an elemental based damage if you want to add a little bit of extra damage to it, which will increase your DPS a little bit. But I personally like to have a lot of bullets, so I put rounds per magazine in there because I don't want to have to spend. I would rather spend more time shooting than reloading, so that's why I have rounds per mag in there. So what I will do right now is I'm gonna just hold down left click and show you guys. Look, you can see right here. I'll hold down left click and show you what the stability is looking like. I'm gonna aim. Oh wow. Wait 1 second. Okay. I'm gonna hold down the aim button and then I'm just gonna shoot. So let's go to our eternal willpower and I want to show you what that looks like. So if we just hold it down and shoot, that's the eternal willpower, practically looking up in the sky. And then we got the KsDivinity's horn here. See that? KsDivinity's horn has slightly higher fire rate, and the kick up is not too crazy on it. Now let's look at, I don't remember what the name of this is, but oh, the Phantom Pain. Has a little bit more kick just because the fire rate's a little bit higher, but as you can see, the fire rate on that is pretty good. Now when it comes to controlling it, it just all really depends on you, right? That one is, it's okay to control. Let's get some ammo. KsDivinity's horn. It's a little bit wonky, goes up and down and stuff like that. It's a little bit unpredictable. And then the Phantom Pain. Same there. Bounces up and down. So it's all about how you can control it. So anyways, I decided we're going to go with the Eternal Willpower. So let's check out the Eternal Willpower and what I have on it. So I want to show you, okay, so this is what we'll do. We'll go here and take everything off. So right now, as you can see, the DPS of this weapon is only 142,948. Now, if you press tab, we can look at the weapon information as well. Because this one has the highest damage, base damage, firearm attack, I chose to use this one. And also, you will receive the most amount of increase in firearm attack when you use firearm attack increase mods. And what I mean is, oh no, not that, that's great. Right here. So let's say for this one example, right? No, we'll use this one. For this one, our firearm attack is plus 61%. Recoil is plus 20% too, so yeah. But we put that on there. Now it's, if you look at it, it's gonna give us, with this mod, you get 61% of your base firearm attack. So as you can see, we have 13,035 extra damage because we're getting 61% of our base firearm attack. So let's save that. Bam. So that gave us an extra 13,000. Now if we compare that to, let's say, the Phantom Pain, right? And let's say we put the same mod on. We're only getting a bonus of 6,600 because it's percentage based off of the weapon's base stats. Now, if you want to see the KsDivinity's horn, we'll check that one out too. So if you see this one, oh, tab right here. So we're getting a plus 8,000 for this one. So that puts us at 21,000, which is the base damage of the Phantom, or the Eternal Willpower. So we're at 21,588 for this with a 631 fire rate. This one right here is 34,000 with a 499 fire rate. And then we got the Phantom Pain right here at a 1754 with a 722 fire rate. Okay. Now I want you guys to also look at something else. Wait a minute. Let me see something. Critical hit damage, attack. Firearm, chill. Okay, so your stats here also matter. So this one has firearm attack. This one also has firearm attack. And this one also has firearm attack. So they all have firearm attack on it, but the only problem is the only one that has critical hit chance is my Eternal Willpower. Now listen, the way critical hit chance works is I'm not getting Because this has a 14.9% crit chance, my base crit chance for this is 20%. And then on this one, it is 10, or crit rate is 9, and the crit rate on this one is 9. So keep that in mind. So the eternal willpower, and it's obviously because it's added. We have a little bit extra crit on top just because we have the 14.9%. Let's go right here. We'll look right here. So our critical hit rate is 22.98, and this one is 9, and this one is 9. We're getting extra. It should be 2.98 crit rate increase just because we have on here 14.9% crit rate. So remember, these stats that you add go based off our percentage based off of the raw stat of your weapon. So the eternal willpower has a pretty good crit rate modifier as a base. As you can see, these other two with a higher fire rate have lower crit chances as a base. Now, obviously, the crit damage is going to be affected because this one has crit damage 44.8. This one has crit damage 38.2, and then this one has crit damage 38. So, that crit damage is going to play, especially as you can see here. It's a 2.172. This is a 2.073. So your stats here do matter. So I would definitely make sure you roll some good stats on there. Get the materials for that. Now, let's continue with modding this. So now that we pretty much see the difference in damage for these all weapons, we'll solely stick to the eternal willpower now. So our base stats right now for the eternal willpower is firearm attack at 36,777. We want to increase that some more because we want to try to get as much damage as we can possibly get. So we're going to go ahead and add rifling reinforcement on here. Bam. So rifling reinforcement is a 32% increase, remember, of the base damage of the weapon. Remember, the base damage of this weapon is 21,000. So we get an extra 6,838.4 damage. Raw damage. So now we're at 41,244.1 firearm attack just for an assault rifle. Pretty good. So cool, we got the firearm attack out the way. And as you can see, our DPS already now, just off of that, is 262,608. Not that great, but, we can work with that. Now that we got our firearm attack on, I want to capitalize on our firearm critical hit rate. Since it has a solid 20% base, let's go ahead and capitalize on that, right? So it's like this weapon is meant for a crit build. So let's go ahead and find some crit. So obviously you're going to want your crit chance. So slap your crit chance in there. And this is a 39% increase of your 20%. So we're getting a bonus of 7.8 crit chance. So now we're at 27.8 crit chance. Now I want some more crit chance, right? I think it's this one that we're going to be using. Okay, so bam, there we go. That's going to give us a plus 2.9, so 30.7. And if you look right here, it's going to be a 33.68 because our firearm critical hit rate is a 14.9. So we're getting a little extra crit rate for that on the ending stats. And if you see also right here, we have a 43,000 damage per hit. So we're at 33.68 crit chance, which is pretty nice. Now that we got our crit chance or crit rate up in there, obviously you want to bang out your critical hit damage. So you get that bonus of 74.8% of the base, which puts us at a 2.719 multiplier. But that's not enough for me. I want more damage. I like big numbers. So we go for this right here. Concentration priority. Now the negative. My bad. I thought I heard something. The negative side of concentration priority is the simple fact that you have a reload time modifier of negative 30%, which definitely does drop your DPS in the long run because you do have to calculate in reload time. So let's go ahead and put concentration priority in there, which is going to give us plus 120% critical hit damage. As you can see right here, firearm critical hit damage I'm getting plus 1.8. So we are already at a 4.519 times multiplier on our critical hits. That's juicy. Now, as you can see, look at our reload time. It went from 1.9 to 2.47. That's not too great for us. Now that we got our firearm attack, we got our critical hit rate, we got our critical hit damage multipliers, which is juicy. Now look at our DPS, 451,000 damage with just these. Now don't get me, what this build is going to take a lot of investment, just so you know. You are going to need a lot of these crystallization catalysts. Just saying. And then you're obviously going to want to go ahead and put yourself the max capacity up. So I'm just saying. Now that we got our foundation of damage built, now let's start adding some quality of life to the weapon. So our magazine size is only 25. So I want to go ahead and extend my magazine capacity. So we're getting a plus 12 to that, putting us at 37 bullets. Now remember, because I put on rounds per magazine, 11%, we go from 37 bullets to a nice 40 bullets, right? After the attributes that's rolled on your weapon come into effect after the mods. So we have a nice 40 rounds. All right, so we got that. But what are we going to do about the really, really low fire rate? The 499 fire rate. Let me show you what that's looking like. That's what that looks like. That's what that is. So it's pretty slow. So obviously, let's go ahead and add ourselves a fire rate mod over here. Now you could do this one, which is a plus 25% to your fire rate, or you can go ahead and add something like this. I can't tell you the maximum fire rate that you get from these. I think it might be like 20 or something like that if I'm correct. Oh wait, right here. Oh, that's reload time. Yeah, I don't know. You would have to let's just go and look. So let's go ahead and put this mod on and see. So let's see. Let's say if you were to use one of these. Now, if you want to look at what you're going to get the most bang for your buck, so go ahead and make sure while you're looking at your mod sheet, you press your tab or whatever your corresponding button is if you're on console, just to pull up this weapons info screen. So just take a peek, right? So let's say we do fire rate plus firearm critical hit rate. That's only going to add a 0.3 crit rate. Not that great, honestly, in my personal opinion. 0.3 is nothing good. Or you can say firearm critical hit rate plus 6.5%. Critical hit damage puts you at a 0.098. Not that great either. Or you could do this one, firearm or fire rate 8% plus your firearm attack 1%. Now you get 213, right? So I'm like, okay, I'll just do that. So with just the base mod, you go from 499 to 543. Still not too great. So let's go ahead and see if this exceeds the 25% that you get from the regular fire rate mod.
Well, you're here for modules, right?
All right, so not the Clio. Right here. So let's see. Let's see when you max this thing out. Like I said, you get 20%. So you get a little bit less than 5%. Now you see, I would do it just to test it out, but your boy's kind of low on Kuiper. I'm only 113k, so yeah. So yeah, you're only getting 20% over the 25%. You get a plus 1% firearm attack, which as you see is only 200 extra damage. But at the cost of 5% fire rate. So anyways, so what I would recommend is to just go with the fire rate up right here. The basic fire rate up. Max that one out, that's plus 25% to your fire rate. Now let's save that, and you see that puts our fire rate up from 499 to 666. I don't like that number, but that's just what it is. So we're at 666, fire rate 41,000. Actually, no. Let's go ahead and look at after these stats are put in there. So we are at 43,616 firearm attack, fire rate 666, rounds per magazine 40, reload time is a 1.9, reload time modifier 0.3. So as you can see in the other screen right here, our reload time is a 2.47. And then we have firearm critical hit rate, 33.68%, with a critical hit damage of 5.089 times multiplier. Our pierce is 10%, but whatever. We don't care about status attribute because we're not using any elemental damage. Weak point damage is 1 times. So essentially, this build right here is good where it's at. But because I want to push out maximum amount of damage possible, I'm going to go ahead and obviously use a couple more of these things and fill these 2 slots in. Now, what I would say to do is add in a weak spot or weak point right here. So I'll be putting this on, maxing that out to give us more weak point damage. So that way our maximum number of crits would be even higher. And then also there is, where is it at? It's not that. There's one that I'm going to be using. Let me find it. Monster Magazine firearm critical hit rate. Okay, that's only 1.5. That's not what I'm looking for. Weak point damage. Plus 2% firearm attack. So yeah, I'll probably be gonna go ahead and slap this bad boy on right here. We'll see though. I'll be doing some testing to see which one's gonna do the most damage. But as far as I'm concerned, we will be going ahead and using this. As far as I'm concerned, we might just go with this one. We just might. Just because I'm gonna get some more weak point damage on top of this weak point that I'm gonna be putting on later, so that way we can really stack that one up. So let's save that and put this focus fire on, which we get our weak point damage plus 8% at level 1. Fire and critical hit damage plus 6.5%. So let's go ahead and look at the overall stats of this. So as you can see, we got a 5.187 critical hit damage multiplier plus a, oh wait, no, rounds per magazine. Actually, I kind of want, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take off firearm critical hit rate, 14.5%, which is gonna go ahead and drop us. Let's see. It's a 27.8 here, but when after you add in the stats, we got a 30.78. So we're losing 3%, but to compensate for that slower reload, what we're gonna do is put this reload time modifier on, which gives us a plus 6.5% to our critical hit rate or damage, which is fine and that's okay. And you can see we are at 648,000 DPS with this, with a 201.3% increase on our crit damage. So let's go ahead and see. So yeah, we are at a 5 times crit multiplier with a 30% crit chance. And then our reload is not going to be as bad anymore. So as you can see, we're at a 1.99 instead of the 2.47. So we are 0.09 slower on our reload just because this is a 25% reload time modifier and this is a negative 30% reload time modifier. So we are at a -5 with the reload time modifier, which makes us take 0.9 seconds to reload, a little bit longer. So DPS, sustained DPS over a certain period of time is increased this way. You can, if you don't, let's say you don't really mind the 2.5 second reload time, then you could slap this one back on. Like I said, it's only a 3% increase. So, I mean, 3% is 3%. I mean, I personally wouldn't recommend it because then you're playing off of RNG and we want actual, sustained damage. But, I mean, crit is RNG regardless. So, this is what you're going to be looking at with a 648,013 DPS. Tooltip DPS. This isn't an exact number because it's just kind of like if you see that off, it's just kind of you can't really factor in crit when it comes to doing your builds just because we have a 30% chance. We have a 30.78% chance per bullet to hit a critical hit. So it's not 30% of the mag is guaranteed to hit a crit. You have a 30% chance per bullet to hit a crit. So, you know, I don't know. Don't look at this DPS number as a final, like, end all be all type of deal. Especially because once we add in our weak point damage, the game doesn't calculate weak point damage into your DPS, so it will not change this DPS number. But for now, this is what the build is looking like. We got critical hit rate, critical hit damage, some more critical hit damage. We got firearm attack and some more firearm attack with reload speed, fire rate, and magazine capacity. Now I want to show you what the damage is looking like. Now I want to show you what this damage is looking like. Alright, so it's already set for us. Actually, no, it doesn't matter. Okay, so let's check out the damage here with this build. So we are at a 648,000 DPS build. We got all of our mods set that we're going to use for now. Actually, maybe let's go ahead and put on this. Where is it at? Let's go ahead and put this one on. All right, there we go. There we go. Got a little extra 2% weak point damage. It's nothing crazy, but you know, a little bit. Probably what, 1 extra bullet, 2 extra bullets. So as you see, our weak point damage is a 1.02 times multiplier. More damage is more damage. So anyway, recording. Thank you. Wife brought me some food. All right, so let's check out our damage numbers here. So we're doing on a headshot 60,561 damage per headshot, non-crit. With our crits, it's a 308,000. See, 308,229. So with this build, currently as it is now, you can do some good damage. If this lady would stop shaking so hard, you know, I could hit more shots. Actually tripping. But there you go. Right, 308,000 damage headshots on a crit and 60,000 damage no, non-crit. Now, let's say, okay, that's great, but I want to increase it even further. Obviously, once I max this weapon out, we'll be doing even more damage, especially on the weak points. But let's say you can use characters like Glay or you can use Blair. I would personally, if you're just wanting raw damage, big numbers, I would personally say use Blair. Let me make sure I got the right build on. Okay, I'm testing this build out, but right here. All right, we're gonna put this build on, the backfire build, the one that gives you, as you see, flame zone absorption, significantly increase weak point damage, and firearm attack instead of skill power. I have a video on the channel with 2 different type of builds, which showcases this build, which is a weapon DPS build, and then this one, which is a skill DPS build. I'm going to revamp this one so that way I can get out more damage, because that's what this tester build is for. But I'm gonna revamp this one, but I'll show that in another video. If you're interested into this build, the weapon DPS build, I would suggest that you go onto the channel and go check that out. But let me heal. So there we go. Let's go ahead and, I don't know why I moved, I just did. Alright, now that we got our buffs, let's go ahead and see what we're doing now. 78,000 damage with no crit. 389,000 damage on a weak point crit. So with this particular build, we are out here pushing out fat daddy clapping numbers. Now, let me tell you the reason why we use Blair instead of Glay. Because this Blair, really quick, your passive is going to go ahead and give you critical hit chance, critical hit damage, and then you'll also get some weak point damage and some firearm attack damage. So that's why we use Blair for our weapon DPS build over Glay. As you can see, with this current build that we're at, we're hitting practically 400,000 damage on a weak point crit. And this weapon's only gonna get stronger because I still have stuff to add to it. So, all in all, you can still do great damage with any of the other assault rifles if you build it the same way that I'm doing with this one. The only difference is each hit will not be as high because the Eternal Willpower has the highest raw damage out of the assault rifles, excluding the last assault rifle, like I was saying, because I don't have it, but I'm gonna get it so I can look at it and see. And then if it's good, I might build it out. We'll see though. But so yeah, that's the assault rifle build in a nutshell. It's like I said, it's not finished. I will definitely do an updated one, but I feel like it's in a great spot to showcase. We have a 659,000 DPS. You've seen we're doing 300 what? 390 or 380, whatever the heck the number was. Almost 400,000 damage headshots. And the build isn't even completed. We still got to max this one out, which is just going to give us more magazine capacity. This one slot is up to you. This one is something where you can just put whatever you would like. But for this other slot, like once you get enough points for weak point damage, 100% guaranteed, put it in there. And then your final slot is it's kind of like up to you, right? Let's say you want, I don't know, freaking, well, I don't know, let's say you want to put on recoil to help your recoil and you get a little bit of weak point damage. Let's say you want to put that in there. Okay, bam. There you go. Now you got better recoil. I want to go check out the upgrades on this mod just to see. But you have better recoil, so the gun isn't shaking too hard, so it's a little bit easier to aim. So theoretically you can hit more shots, which you'll do more damage the more shots you land. So let's see. What goes up here? Yeah, so it's just the recoil. Yeah, so you can put that on if you want. If the weapon is too jumpy for you, put some recoil on. Or maybe let's say you're like, okay, I do want to use Blair. Let me go ahead and put this fire conductor mod on because I do plan on catching them on fire. So then go ahead and put this one on, fire conductor, which is going to go ahead and obviously if you max this bad boy out, you'll get more than 13.1% firearm attack, which as you can see, you're going to have some fat daddy numbers. So then your crits will be higher than what I'm doing now. So it's really up to you, but your second to last mod, you have to put weak point damage on there. I'm going to be putting that on there, but I wanted to put this first because as you can see, we're already doing good enough damage without it, but we're going to put that on there so we can do even better damage. So that's the build. I know I keep saying that over and over again, but let me show you one more time. We got action and reaction for firearm attack. We got rifle reinforcement, firearm attack. We got better insight for 39% critical hit rate. We got better concentration for plus 74.8% critical hit damage. We got concentration priority for plus 120% critical hit damage, but negative 30% reload speed. We have reload focus on for a plus 25% to our reload speed and firearm critical hit damage plus 6.5%. We have the fire rate up mod, which is fire rate plus 25%. We have rounds per magazine at plus 49%, and then we have we have extended weapons charge, which is rounds per magazine 49%, and we have maximum weight balance, which is currently right now with our mod capacity, rounds per magazine plus 9.2% and weak point damage plus 2%. We're missing one mod, which will be our weak point sight. And then our build is good once they're all fully maxed out. And then we should be hitting well over 400,000, hopefully 500,000 weak point damage crits. So that's the build. It's a great weapon. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to just go ahead and maybe run a dungeon or something, do something just to showcase the weapon. so you guys can see the damage, how fast it kills things, stuff like that. Obviously, we're gonna do it in hard mode, and yeah. So if you're not interested into the gameplay and you kind of just got, you just wanted to see the build to see how I got 600. What is that? 600, 650? Yeah, 659,000 DPS. Then this is the end of the video for you. Hey, I just want to say thank you guys for staying till the end, seeing how I did it, checking out the Eternal Willpower, what a beast of a weapon that it actually is. You can use something else besides the, what is this gun called? The freaking Tamer. You can use something else besides the Tamer that actually dishes out insane numbers. Yeah, so that's the build. Thank you guys for watching. And if you want to stick to the video and go ahead and check out some of the gameplay that I'll be posting, feel free. And if not, hey, still, thank you for watching. And that's going to be it for me. Until next time.
Mission complete. Well done, Descendant.